Okay, we're back with the KTM. There was no way to get that little rubber, um, that little piece that stops stuff from going down in where your power valve arm is without taking the whole case side off. So, thanks to No Limit Power Sports, I got the case gasket that I needed. So we're going to carry on from here, hopefully get this top end on here today. Okay, so that gets us a good close up. I will grab the case. First thing I'm going to do, grab my Vertex gasket. I'm going to grease this up just so it makes it a little bit easier to hold when you're trying to put it on. And if it ever has to come back off again, it's going to make it a little bit easier to take it off. I'm sure you guys have dealt with all the little green pieces that you unfortunately have to scrape off, and it wastes a whole bunch of time. The gasket that was on it, I think it was a Cometic gasket. It had a little bit of metal in it, and it come off in one piece, so everything seemed to work out fine. So bear with me. I'm going to grease this gasket up and we'll come right back. Okay, grease the gasket up. I'm going to bring this over, get it in front of here. So basically all I did was just put some grease between my fingers and just made a light coating all the way around, just so it's going to sit there a little easier. Now I got one locator here. The other locator is on the engine. So hopefully you guys can see this and I'm not blocking it too much. Got two locators there, one locator here. So instead, what I'm going to do it the easy way. Take the other locator, put it in the engine side, and I'm going to lay the gasket on the engine side, which probably is going to be a hell of a lot easier. So lay it in, loops around there. Okay, stay up there, there. Push it on carefully. There we go. Everything is lined up. Now push it on. When you push it down, the grease should help to hold it. Now I didn't have a lot of grease on there, so hopefully that'll stay in place for me and keep that covered up top. Now set this on, and I did put a new gasket Kickstarter seal on. I had them here from a kit, so I thought might as well do it while it's off. I'll try not to get my head in the way and just ease this on. Hopefully wiggle it into place. There we go. That's in the right spot. The gasket is lined up everywhere. Okay, now I have seen guys, what they'll do is that bolt pattern right there, they'll lay them into like a piece of cardboard or something that they've got cut out. I didn't have that, so what I've got basically is all of these are laid out on the floor so that they will correspond to the proper spots. Now this one is in a drain, so I'm going to change that gasket on that one, and I just want to make sure they all go through correctly. And they all, if you do mix them up, if they stick out a little bit, they should all basically stick out about the same as you're going around your engine. If they don't, then you've probably got one out of order. There. So those all line up. Everything's good. I'm going to keep this off for now. I'm going to get a little bit of blue Loctite. Just put a little dab of Loctite on all of these, and then we're going to torque it up. Okay, we're back. I put the blue Loctite on, and what I'm going to do is going to go around. I'm going to kind of do like a crisscross pattern and try to get this all torqued up. know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get an extension for this. Bear with me. Okie doke. Here we go. And torque specs show 10, what have I got here? Sorry, 10 Newton meters is what the torque specs call for here. And I'm just gonna crisscross until we get some clicking happening. Back and forth. Okay guys, it's the video timed out on me. Unfortunately, I got busy doing something there. So obviously you can see that I've got the clutch cover now on. I had to put the rear brake pedal back on. So now I'm going to carry on with putting the top end gasket on. And I've pre-greased. We'll get everything out of the way here. Got the piston all covered up nicely, keeping shrapnel, etc. from falling in, which is great. It's nice and clean across the top. So now on goes, and you can't really goof these up. You have a locating pin on the back of this, and when I say you can't goof this up, now I've got it all discombobulated here. Hold on, folks. I've got it upside down, and the other locating pin is in the top end. Should go like so. There we go. All right, so 2 locating pins. One right down here. I'll get that moved down easy. Hang on. I want that to come down nice and equally so I don't tear anything. So it lays down there nicely, seated correctly, and it's on. Now, we want to make sure that our rings are lined up with the pins, because you can cause a whole lot of headaches if they aren't. One pin there, one pin there. Okay, that looks okay to me. I'm going to get a little assembly lube, and I'm just going to wipe some on there, and hopefully we will be sliding the top end down here in a matter of minutes. Okay, we're back. Sorry guys, it was a pain in the literal ass trying to get those pins to line up, especially when you've got the tank on and I can't see. So I had to jump ahead a little bit. I've got it on, and now I've got this cool little tool from Motion Pro so that we can get into those bolts on either side. Okay, so 12 mil, and it has to be lined up direct to get the correct torque. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a regular wrench and spin that down first. Then we'll carry on. Hang on, guys. 12 mil. Okay. Yeah, it's there's going to be a bunch of dead air there, or sped up film, just to try to get that cylinder head on. We'll get this snugged. Get onto the other side here. Got to really give a shout out to Shawn at Horizon Metal Works, I believe, out Sterling Way. Like, have a look at that. Have a look at that cylinder head. That thing looks awesome. Now, let's get our Torx going. And crisscross again, of course. I'm going to go here. Then I'll go the back on the other side. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of back and forth here, guys. But you want this going down nice and even. You can't just crank one side and, you know, call it done. So let's get it snugged. Maybe I can do it from this side. Yeah, looks like I can. Spin it around. God dang. Okay. We don't want the settings to be off. Okay, that's good there. Stay on this side. Snug. Snug. Okay. That. Okay. Keep moving that just a little bit. Keep my hand on it, I guess. Okay, that one. Good. Good. Okay, and just one more check. It's good. 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 And good. Okay. So now that we have that on, we will get our power valve covers. Now before we do that, we want to hook in our little power valve. So that fits over like so. You'll feel it sort of snap in place, and that's where your power valve should be. That's good there. Okay. That's wide open. That's closed. Perfect. So just double check. Okay, it goes all the way on. That's good. Now there's a little clip that goes in here. I always get afraid that it's going to fall in there. I mean, better safe than sorry. At this stage, you definitely do not want that falling down in the engine and have to try to fish it out with a magnet. So that is locked in. We will get our little clip. And there's a hole that it goes up through at the back of this little ball. I'm trying to find it, like a needle in a haystack. So I might do, does it rotate at all? No, it needs to go in. Sorry guys if I'm blocking the camera. It's got to go in that hole. It comes out the top of that ball. I don't know if you can see that. And once it does, you lock that into place. And Bob's your uncle, as they say. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is get these on each side. Grab our gaskets. And side is which? This side. Okay. Now these gaskets, the Kinetic gaskets, are the ones that have a little bit of metal built into them, and they seem to come apart very easily when you're tearing the engines apart. So I may still put a little bit of grease on it, maybe not as much as I would a normal, just a paper gasket, just to make it easier if something's not right and we got to take this back apart. I don't want to have to get all brand new gaskets. So I'll give it a quick wipe here, find the correct Torx bit that we need. Gotcha. Okay. Here we go. All right. So, gasket on. Get the screws. Hopefully you guys can see this. And that's just me. I like to put a little bit of Loctite on everything just in case. Last thing you want is a bolt wandering out when you're ripping the bike down, flying down a straightaway. So this little piece here, I'm too high. There we go. There's a groove right there. I don't know if you can see it, that fits right on that rubber. Okay, and then this fits. Oh, you know what I went and did? All right, there's a mistake right there. I get talking, I goof it up. We've got to pause for the cause. Okay guys, I'm back asswards. So that gasket must go on before you snap this into place. And then put your fingers on the bottom of this gasket and slide it in behind that rubber. Don't grab it here and shove it down. You'll just buckle that gasket. That's not what you want to do. And then this slides forward, give you a nice, as airtight as possible fit. Okay. And then we want, oh, where did I go with that screwdriver? Okay. Get these bolts in. Okay. Make sure they line up. Then screw them in. Don't force them. If it feels like it's a little bit tough going in, something's not lined up. Check your hole to make sure that the gasket hole is lined up with the hole on your cover. Before you go forcing things in, they should go in nice and easy, just like that. Okay, very easily. Okay, then this side. In she goes, nice and easy. Okay, and there's a torque spec here too. I'm just going to get these on both sides, and then I'm going to come back around and torque them. Okay, just snug them for now. And I'll go around the other side, get the other side on. A little bit of grease. As I say, the grease isn't completely necessary, guys. If I just find it allows you to take these gaskets off easier. Nothing worse than spending half the day scraping gaskets when you don't need to. If you can do this, give yourself a bit of a head start. That's great. So gasket goes that away, and bolts, a little Loctite. Okay, now we'll go around the other side. Get this on. Now that everything's torqued, away we go here. I'm really happy with how that cylinder head turned out. I'll definitely be doing a lot more of that once we get going on that KX build. Again, I'm just going to snug this side. There are torque specs, and then I'll come back around and we'll work on the head here. Like so. Good, good. Okay. Now, we need to get our cylinder head ready. So be right back, guys. Okay, so we have a couple of O-rings, and one has a slightly larger diameter. So I'm going to test it first. Okay, and see what the difference is. Whether this might be a kit that'll fit 125 and 150, and I'm wondering if the little black one is for a 125 head. Yeah, that's definitely too small. You guys could see that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, again, a little bit of grease helps to hold that in place. And get that laid in there. Okay, and you want to be careful. I like using the grease because it will hold those gaskets in place. You run less of a risk. I'm not going to say it's 100%, but you run less of a risk of pinching it when you put the head down with that grease, because it will actually help hold the ring from sliding out when the cylinder head goes on. So lay that in correctly. The other one's in. No grease covering any holes. That's good. All right, cylinder head time. So I've got the gasket. There's a gasket here. Make sure that you put that on first. And then this fits up inside here. I've got that all cleaned up. And then there's a couple of locating pins that I still have to install. And then we'll slide it on. Okay. So locating pins are in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that piston right to the top. That way, if I was to happen to drop those little locating pins, they don't fall down in the engine. Oh, geez, speaking of falling down in the engine, they would stay up inside or outside of falling into the engine. Okay, just like so. All right, now let's get those bolts. And then what I'm going to do once I thread those bolts, and I'm going to pull this up and fit it on, because it's a real pain. So hang on, guys. Okay, I'm going to clean these bolts up and we'll be back. Okay, guys, we're back. I slid the head down on there, and I got new crush washers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around in a crisscross pattern and get that torqued in. Okay, so go there. I do this from one side. Cool. And get at the front. Okay, well, looks like I need a longer 10 or a little bit of a extension. If I can find one. Because the head of the ratchet is running interference. It's touching the frame. So what I need, and of course it's always the one that's missing, is a longer 10 mil. So what do we have? Well, the 10 mil that'll fit a smaller torque wrench. Will this torque wrench go up to the right correct numbers? What do I need? Cylinder head, 18 Newton meters. It will. Okay. Hold on, guys. 17. Let's hope this works. There we go. All right, so back to this side. Okay, straight across. And this one. This one. Hey, there we go. Now I can reach them all from the same side. Okay. One, two. Let's get that out of there for a minute. Just put it in there to keep stuff from falling in. Take this out. I will just put something in there for now. Not that I'm clumsy, but it's more of a just in case. There. Okay. Just double checking this. Seems like a lot. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's go back around. So good there, good there, good there, good there. I know the pattern changed each time, guys, but pretty much as long as it's a star pattern, we're okay. So I'm going to temporarily put this back in for now. And we're going to have to call it a day here. Off camera, I'm just going to torque these just to make sure I remember. I'm missing a clamp for right here, and I cannot find it for the life of me. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And, you know, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a KX 125 build once this is all finished and I got a customer's shock on the bench. And we'll get this finished up as soon as I can find that that missing. As I'm talking, I'm looking around here because I thought it was right here. But anyway, yeah, that missing rad clamp. So take care, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, get your friends to subscribe, and follow along for our builds.